Okay, hello, a very good morning, afternoon, or good evening, everyone, depending on which part of the world you're from. My name is Shoei, and I believe most of you should be familiar with me. Either you have seen me last week when we did our math seminar, or you are part of our mailing list and you have been receiving emails from me. So today we'll be doing our TOK seminar. As promised, we have lined up a series of seminars to help you with the different subjects across IBDP. Next up, we have econs, followed by physics, chemistry, and I know we have some requests for Geog and Lit.io. Again, if you want to make sure that you're up to date with the seminars that you're conducting, make sure that you're on our mailing list. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to invite my other co-founder, Elgin. You probably would have seen his photo as well in the emails that we've sent out. So Elgin is actually our resident TOK expert, and today he will be sharing with you all the tips and tricks that he knows about TOK. And I think what's more important would likely be the last section of this seminar where Elgin has allocated some time for Q&A. So really just ask any questions that you may have at the end. Don't be afraid to ask. I think we had a very good session last week. And okay, Elgin, the floor is yours. Take it away. Thank you.
Okay, hi everybody. Thank you so much, Shoei. Yes, my name is Elgin. I'm going to take you through today's TOK seminar. All right, the focus of today's seminar is, of course, I want to teach you how to master the TOK essay. The TOK essay is of course upon 30 marks. All right, I want you to get as close to possible to that 30. Okay, just let me know on the chat if you want. I know some of you did email and did reach out to us, and you were saying that actually right now a lot of you are working on your TOK exhibition as well, because I know that the TOK essay will not be due for at least a few months from now, but still, hey, the November 2023 titles are already out. So some of you, I think some of your schools perhaps might already be asking you to look at it already. So here it is. Whatever I'm sharing you today, of course, it is geared towards the TOK essay, but the concepts that I'm going to cover, the way you structure a TOK essay, the way you think will, of course, be applicable, not just for your essay, but also for any TOK assignment that you do, whether it be, the TOK exhibition or just some non-graded school assignment as well. Okay, so let's go. As we know, the TOK and the IB, all right, covers two components: the 1,600 word essay, all right, which is going to be the focus of today's workshop or seminar, whichever you call it, and of course the TOK exhibition as well, which, as I said, some of you might already be working on. Okay, today's coverage, three things. Okay, what is the TOK essay? How to master and score for the TOK essay, and a sample analysis. I'm going to take out one of the 6 essay titles for the November 2023. And, we are just going to go through it. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit of a cheat sheet for you. Okay, so let's go. Some TOK tips to start. Okay, I'm not going to try to replace the job of your TOK teacher. So I'm not going to explain in depth what TOK is. You should already know it, or at least have a good idea of what the TOK is. Okay, but essentially, let me give you a bird's eye view of TOK. Okay, TOK, you should know, it's just basically asking you, how do you know what you know? That's number one. All right. And number two, of course, is how do you know what you know is true? That really is it. Okay. Theory of knowledge might seem very convoluted to a lot of you, might seem very complicated, sometimes might even seem very confusing. But really, if you just have it in the back of your mind, that in everything that you do that is related to TOK, you just need to ask yourself, TOK just wants to ask you, how do you know what you know? And how do you know what you know is true? Okay, so for the first part, how do you know what you know? Basically, it is through the 8 ways of knowing, or as we call it, walks, right? I'm not going to go through each and every one of the walks there. I think you guys would already know: emotion, memory, imagination, faith, reason, sense and perception, so on and so forth. Of course, we should know that while we acquire knowledge through these 8 walks, we should know that these walks are not, as you would call it, not 100%. All right, it is not 100%. It is fallible. Okay, in other words, it can fail us. Okay, so sense of perception, my favorite. All right, basically just says that the way you look at the world, your senses might be very different from my senses. I have sinus. I have difficulty breathing sometimes when I wake up. All right, I have a blocked nose. just by having a blocked nose, my sense of smell is already different from your sense of smell. Okay, you might walk into the room and say that, oh, this room has such a nice smell. But when I walk in, I say, I can't smell it at all. All right, so just like that, the way that we look at the world is different. So our walks is not the same. All right, so that will go into the next question. How do you know what you know is the true view of the world? Okay, so very simply, you just got to ask yourself whether or not something is true. You got to ask yourself whether does it correspond with reality and whether it is coherent in itself. So coherent in itself just means there's no contradiction. All right, and corresponds with reality. Basically, if I see that there is a chair there, if I see that in front there is a chair, I'm going to say there is a chair. If I ask everybody else, do you see a chair there? And everybody says yes, then hey, let's just go with it. All right, that is our reality. That is what I call an objective reality. Okay, so even though it is true, there is obviously subjective reality. Basically, as I said, reality, your reality is different from my reality, could be different from someone else's reality. All right, but if you go into that for theory of knowledge, it's just going to be an endless loop. All right, and that's not what we want to do. We don't want to be caught in an endless loop. We don't want to go down this rabbit hole. Make things easy for you, even though TOK can be very philosophical, can be very confusing, but you just got to keep things simple. For the purposes of IB, this is not a philosophical course, right? You're not doing philosophy in university. This is just theory of knowledge. All right, so for theory of knowledge, just assume there is an objective reality. Every time you write your essay, or if you do your TOK exhibition or whatnot, just assume, make life easy for you. There is an objective reality. If I say there's a chair there and everyone says there's a chair there, there is a chair there. Let's not argue anymore. Okay, that's basically it. All right, and of course the 8 areas of knowledge or the AOKs is there. Okay, you should by now already have some of your favorites. Okay, some of your favorite area of knowledge. Those of you who are in STEM, right? You love your sciences, you love your mathematics, then of course you're going to choose mathematics and natural sciences. Those of you who are doing economics, who are doing psychology, all right, or geography, or whichever it may be, then you might like the other areas of knowledge. Okay, so go and pick ones that really resonate with you. Okay, because if you have interest in it, then you can really understand it a little bit better. Okay, so this is just the TOK toolkit for you. Let's go on straight into the TOK essay. What is the essay? As I told you, the essay is really an opportunity for you to showcase your understanding, your knowledge of TOK concepts. What is the TOK concept? I've already told you. How do you know what you know? And how do you know what you know is true? Always remember that. Okay, repeat it to yourself. Never forget that whenever you're doing TOK, these two are your best friends. Okay, there will be 6 essay titles. If you are going to do the November 2023 or you're going to do the May 2024 or next year or whichever it is, all right, it doesn't matter how the IB is going to change the 6 essay titles. It will revolve around 3 things: nature of knowledge, production of knowledge, and finally, whether sometimes, not as common these days, but it might ask you a little bit about your ways of knowing. Okay, IB will always ask you to analyze, to discuss, to demonstrate, and examine. Does anybody here know that IB has actually released a glossary or a definition of command terms? They call it the IB command terms. You should know it, all right? You should have it, okay? Because when the IB says discuss, right, it is not your definition of discuss. It is not a dictionary's definition of discuss. It is IB's definition of discuss. So you must have, it is a manual. All right, if you have not seen this manual, please go and search it up on the internet. Or if you need us to send it to you, just drop an email. I think Shoei is still here. You have our email address. Go to our website, just drop us an email, say, hey, you spoke about the IB command terms manual, not sure what you're talking about. Can you let me have a look at it? We'll be more than happy to send it to you. Okay, so please, before you analyze a question, it really depends on whether the IB has asked you to analyze, to discuss, to demonstrate, to examine. They mean different things. Okay, please make sure you check it out. All right, but anyway, I'm going to make your life easy. For the 6 essay titles for this year's November 2023 essay titles, every question, all right, every one of the 6 questions is asking you to discuss. And I've already put the definition there. That is not my definition. As I said, that is not the Oxford's definition or any dictionary's definition. This is IB's definition. So please remember, offer a considered and balanced view. All right, that includes a range of arguments, blah, 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 blah. Make sure whatever answer that you come up with for your TOK essay, you have done just that according to the definition. Okay. The grading of the TOK essay, you should know, is upon 30. All right. I'm not going to look at C, D, E, and whatever alphabet there is. I'm only going to look at A and B. All right. A is 22 and above, and B is 16 to 21. All right. So that is what we are going to try to gun for. Okay. If you follow today's seminar, there's no reason why you won't even at least manage a B. All right. I'll show you why. Don't worry. Okay, so now let's go. How to master and score for the TOK essay? Simple. Okay, for now, what we're going to do here is that if you have a computer, all right, quickly go to our website, because now I'm going to shift you over to our website, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to type ed-xp.com. It's right here, okay? All right, this is our website. Now, I want you to go to our blog section. Click on the blog section, okay? And then there is this extremely useful, it's almost like a hack, actually. It's a cheat sheet. All right, this fantastic article here that says the top IB examiner guides you through the most popular TOK May 2023 essay. This was a little cheat sheet that we did for, you know, the people who some of our loyalists, right? People who have used our platform for so long. We wanted to help them out a little bit, all right, for their May 2023 essay. And here it is. Okay, so this is written, all right, by an expert. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay. Just look at this. Of course, the questions are different. I will talk about the November 2023 question, don't worry, all right? But just for the purposes of knowing how to structure, all right, how to structure a TOK essay, let's take a look at this, okay? So you look at my screen if you don't have it, but if you want, you can have it on your own screen. Just go to our website, go to our blog, it's right there, okay? So this is the question that we are tackling today. Is replicability, that means you got to repeat. So is your results repeatable? All right. If I conduct my experiment here in Singapore, all right, whatever results that I get, will it be the same if I conduct it in anywhere else in the world, in India, all right, in the UK, in the US? Will it be the same? That is replicability. All right. Of course, the conditions must be the same. In an experimental condition, everything is controlled. Okay. So is replicability necessary in the production of knowledge discussed with reference to 2 areas of knowledge? All right, let's see what this person did. Paragraph 1, always remember this. What is the first, how do you structure? There should be 10 paragraphs in total. The first paragraph, this applies to TOK Exhibition. All right, the first paragraph, just define. All right, highlight what are the keywords in the question. All right, highlight what are the keywords. Define the keywords so that you can define the scope of your paper. You know, you only have 1,600 words. If you don't define, you don't limit your scope, you can just keep on talking and talking and talking and talking. And that is a pitfall. Don't do that. All right. Make your life easy. Okay. So I'm going to say that replicability is a keyword. I'm going to say that necessary is a keyword. And I'm going to say production of knowledge are keywords. Okay. So as I told you, what is replicability? Under the same conditions, all right, you can repeat the results. All right, you can get the same results anywhere in the world under the same conditions. Okay, that is replicability. Replicability is very important. All right, especially in science. All right, okay, because science is trying to say that I am objective. Doesn't matter who is the one conducting the experiment. I'm not influenced by any form of bias. All right, I'm not influenced by gender, for example, or religion or race. All right, I'm not. I'm objective. Doesn't matter who does it. You will get the same thing. Okay. Necessary. Okay. Necessary obviously is a very high standard. Just means that it is needed, 100% needed. If not, it fails. That is necessary. And of course, what is production of knowledge? It's just right there. Okay. So what you have done is that you can read this. This is how I'm going to define the scope of my entire essay, all right, or this entire essay. And once I've defined the scope, it is important that you state your thesis statement. Your thesis statement is your stand. So are you agreeing? Are you saying that, yes, it is necessary, replicability is necessary? Or are you going to say, no, it's not necessary? Okay, don't be afraid to say yes. Don't be afraid to say no. Okay, it is okay. All right, it is okay to say yes or no, even though obviously nothing in this world is so clear cut. Okay. State the next paragraph, you want to state your knowledge question. All right, state your first knowledge question. Your first knowledge question has to involve your first area of knowledge. All right, so let's just say the area of knowledge that you want to talk about is the natural sciences. That is the first one. Okay, I personally agree with this essay. I personally like to say, to what extent? I like to start off, and students, if they ask me how to craft a knowledge question, I always say, craft it by writing to what extent. It's just easier. All right. So to what extent is scientific knowledge considered good, considered accepted? If experiments and experimental findings cannot be repeated. Okay. Again, as I said, when you pose a knowledge question, all right, don't be afraid to say yes. Don't be afraid to say no. You don't have to give the middle. All right. You don't have to give the middle. Just say yes or just say no. Simple. All right. Now, once you have stated your knowledge claim, all right, so your knowledge claim is just your answer to the knowledge question. Once you have stated your answer to the knowledge question, okay, make sure you give me an explanation for it, all right, and make sure you give me an example. To me, of course, the explanation is easy. The knowledge claim, sometimes the answer to the knowledge claim is easy. But students, from my experience, students always struggle to find examples, all right? My tip to you is that when finding examples, find one that can really support your explanation. It might take you some time, but it is worth the while. If you find a bang-on example, you are going to score so much higher. All right. And a powerful example is going to make or break your essay. Okay. And of course, please don't go and find a very long ago cliche example. Come up with something fresh. Come up with a recent example that will give you a better impression to your TOK examiner. Okay, so here it is. You can read it on your own, but basically the fourth paragraph after that is come up with a counterclaim. All right, so you have already, remember, the key word here is you need to give me a balanced view. So you have given me a yes. All right, now you need a no. Or if you give me a no in front, now you need a yes. Okay, so you need a yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. That is your counterclaim. The same thing. Every time you make a claim or a counterclaim, you need to explain your answers. All right, you need to explain your reason. Why did you say that? And then again, come up with an example. All right, come up with an example. All right, fifth paragraph, very important. Okay, evaluate. So now you have given me the yes, then you have given me the no. You can't stop there. If you stop there, you're contradicting yourself, and that's a failed essay. That's an F. All right, never ever stop at contradicting yourself. Once you've given me the yes, you've given me the no, good. You have given me a balanced essay. Now, reconcile, evaluate. So now that you have told me yes, now that you have told me no, what then? Am I stuck? You got to resolve it. Okay, so that is evaluating. So evaluate the claim and the counterclaim. Tell me, so what is your stand? After you have given me the yes, after the no, what now? Write that in. Okay, that again will take a little bit of thought, right? Then after that, you do the exact same thing. You copy and you paste, Control C, Control F for the other side, for another area of knowledge. So this essay, I think the first one, they talked about natural sciences. The second one, I believe they are going into human sciences. All right, so exactly the exact same thing, copy and paste. Give me your claim, all right? Give me your knowledge claim, explain, example, give me a brilliant example, and then give me a counterclaim, explain an example. So now same thing, I have a yes, I have a no, resolve it, evaluate the claim and the counterclaim for the second AOK. All right, once you're done, paragraph number 10 is conclude. All right, you do this properly, 1,600 words, you definitely will have more than enough words. Sorry, yeah, you definitely will have written more than 1,600 words. You probably need to cut it, all right? And then that's a perfect essay. That's a well-structured essay. So just have this in mind, okay? I like to refer to this, and I like students to refer to this because it really gives you a very clear idea of what is expected of you. Those of you who don't know how to start, who probably need some guidance, this is your guidance. Structure it this way, you will never go wrong, all right? Okay? All right, so now let's go back to our slides, our presentation. Okay, let's go. Okay, so again, if you want to find out where I was looking at, what was that web page, okay, just go to ed-xp.com, click on the blog. All right, this is the one that you're looking at. Okay, go and find this one, click on it, read it 1,000 times until you really understand it. The arguments, I'm going to give you a hint, okay? The arguments in there is also very useful. All right, so even though the question is different, all right, the arguments in there is always going to be the same. TOK kind of revolves around the same thing. So it's definitely recyclable. That's all I can say. Okay, that's my big hint to you. Okay, so again, just a recap, this is the structure, the templated essay structure that I've told you about, all right? Sear this into your memory, never forget it, okay? Now, sample analysis. Now is probably the time that all of you have been waiting for, right? These are the 6, you should know by now, these are the 6 November 2023 TOK essay question titles by the IBO, all right? Not by me, okay? It's by the IBO. You got to look at it. Which one would you choose? Which question speaks to you the most? You know, honestly, when I look at this, there are certain questions that just by my own, I would avoid, all right? I will avoid like the plague. I would never touch it. All right, but that's my own preference. I don't know about you. I don't really want to influence you. Okay, but there are some questions when I look at it, I'm thinking, oh my gosh. All right, that is just going to pull me in circles and it's just going to be so difficult. I'll give you some, I don't want to influence you, but I probably will, right, by saying this. But I'll tell you, question 1, for example, looks very innocent, looks very easy, looks very straightforward, but man, it is not. All right, I don't think it is. Maybe someone else might think it's straightforward. I don't think it is. Okay, to me, what are facts? You know, what's a claim? It's very difficult. To me, facts, are facts a result of already proving a claim? Okay, so to me, question 1 can bring you around in circles. So I don't really like question 1. Okay, maybe not say I don't really like. I like it because it's challenging, but to students, I feel it's quite complicated. I wouldn't do it if I was a student. Personally, I wouldn't want to touch mathematics because mathematics plays on its own game. Okay, some students love it. I won't, so I won't do question 2. I think question 3, to me, I feel it's very easy. Probably is the easiest, question 3. Question 4 is also quite similar to question 3, actually. So question 3 and question 4 are pretty simple. Those of you who have ever read The Life of Pi, all right, especially the lit students, you might know Life of Pi pretty well. Okay. I think it's okay to do. Not my favorite question, but quite interesting. I wouldn't avoid it. Okay. Question 6, I think is also pretty simple. Question 6 is very focused on the natural sciences. Okay. So your science students, your math students, you might like question 6. Okay. So what I'm going to do today, I don't want to take, I'm going to keep things simple, right? I'll just look at one question. So I'll just look at question 3. Okay. I'll look at question 3 together with you because personally, I'm not saying that it's the easiest out of the 6. It's just, to me, I feel question 3 is the most manageable and the easiest to explain to students. All right. So let's go. Okay. Question 3. First things first. Okay. I want to define what are my keywords. I want to identify the keywords in this question and I want to define it. Okay, remember the way I have defined it is not the only way. Okay, always remember that whatever I'm saying is not gospel truth. Okay, you can have your own style. Okay, nothing wrong with that. But to me, this is how I would do it. I would start off by defining what experts mean to me. Experts mean to me someone who is very widely regarded as an authoritative figure, all right, in a particular field, whether is it physics, biology, chemistry, mathematics, law, medicine, whichever, so on and so forth. Okay, it's going to be an expert. All right, what does it mean to me when you say somebody follows unquestioningly? To me, that means you're following someone blindly without really thinking. You're following someone faithfully, almost like a religion, almost like a god, and you don't really question so much. All right. And, you don't verify. I think that's the key word here. You don't verify. Verify is almost like to fact check, to make sure that it's correct. Okay. You're not being taken for a ride. And then I also want to define what dangerous means. Dangerous can mean many things, okay? But for the purposes of this essay, how I would define dangerous is that I would say that the knowledge that is produced and that is broadcasted, all right, by all these experts, okay, might not be correct, might be wrong, you might be misled, okay? So what I want you to look at is read this question again. You got to ask yourself, what is subtly implied in this question? To me, what is subtly implied in this question is that this question is clearly saying both ways are wrong. Both ways are dangerous. All right. But the question is asking you, which is more dangerous? So make sure in your stand, you got to tell me which is more dangerous. Okay. You don't do that, it's an automatic fail. Okay. Because you did not hit the question requirement. All right. So give you some food for thought. Okay, I can't give you, well, actually, I'm going to give you quite a lot of the answers, honestly, and I'm going to pull you in the right direction. So if you decide to do this question, you're going to have a great time. Okay, now I'll give you some food for thought here. First and foremost, okay, when society considers somebody an expert, you know, for example, in a show, he started today's webinar, and he said, Elgin is an expert in TOK. Am I really an expert in TOK? Who called me an expert? Just show E. I don't call myself an expert. All right. IBO doesn't call me an expert. IBO doesn't know who I am. Right. So by that definition, I don't think I'm an expert. All right. But if, let's say, society, all you students have attended my lessons before, all you got A's because of me, because of the way I taught you, suddenly all of you are saying, hey, there's this guy called Elgin from EdXP. He's great. He's like the authority for TOK. When all these people start talking about me in that way, then yeah, I think I'm an expert. Then I think this society, this community, IB community starts to think and recognize I'm an expert. So in this world here, when you look at somebody, when you regard someone as maybe a climate change expert, all right, is Greta Thunberg a climate change expert? I don't know. All right, do society think she's an expert? I don't know, but how about a scientist? All right, there are very prominent scientists that are widely regarded as experts in their field. And why are they considered experts in their field? Because number one, they probably have a PhD in some great university. So that's an education requirement in there. They have published widely. They have published widely means they've written a lot of papers. All right. Their research is not lame. Their research is groundbreaking stuff, things that we have never known. It blows our minds. All right. Then these are the little check boxes that society gives before they call you an expert. All right. Just like if you are going to regard me as an expert, okay, it cannot just be I know TOK very well. I know all the areas of knowledge very well. I teach very well. That's not enough, right? An expert is, can I get every student under me an A for TOK? If I can, I'm sure all of you will call me an expert. I don't think that's disputable. Okay, so basically by calling someone an expert, there's already a high standard. Okay, so if there's already a high standard to someone calling an expert, then it makes it less dangerous, in my opinion, to follow that person without really thinking. Okay, so read on. Okay, what they say is mostly based on evidence from, you know, their own or others' research. So what experts say, experts don't just speak nonsense, right? Experts have studied something. Experts have read other people's work, all right? And that's why they know so much. And I always want you to remember that when studies get published, they get published in this journal, that journal, academic journals, basically. All right. I can't just write something today and think that that this journal is going to accept me and I can publish in that journal. It's not so easy. All right. There are many checks that this journal is going to do. First and foremost, there will be reviews. Whatever I write needs to be reviewed by other academics, has to be reviewed by someone from that journal. All right. And that person can easily reject my work because it's not rigorous enough, because it's not good enough. All right. When I come up with, when I want to say that something has caused something, it's not easy. All right. There are experimental methods that I need to come up with. Okay. Basically, everything that I do, everything that I study, there needs to be a checkbox. It's not so easy. There are rules that I need to play. Okay, and this is something that I would encourage all of you to go and find out a little bit more of. All right, before somebody can publish something on a journal, what are the things that person needs to do? These already, all right, make experts quite reliable, Of course, some of you might be thinking, hey, but experts are still human beings, right? Experts might lie. Experts may lie. Experts may cheat. Experts may steal. They're human beings. Experts may be influenced by some form of political agenda, right? Some of you might be thinking, hey, remember those cigarette companies, all right, basically sponsoring or backing a lot of these experts to write articles, do up studies that support smoking, that find that smoking is good. Or maybe I shouldn't talk about smoking because smoking is so outdated, right? How about e-cigarettes? How about vaping? All right, I'm sure some of you will be very familiar. All right, you see it on the streets. Okay, is vaping healthy? I don't know. Some say no, some say yes. Why do some people say no and why do some people say yes? All right, so this is the part where, yeah, I guess you can bring it up as well. Everybody has a political agenda. So in that sense, maybe following that person might not be the best, all right, if you're unquestioning about it, okay? But what I'm trying to tell you is that before you can publish a study, there are rules. You can't just say things just like that, okay? You will be checked. You will be checked by other experts as well. So the fact that everybody can agree with what they say, what this expert says, can actually give you a lot of comfort, in my opinion, okay? All right, next one. Next one is important. Knowledge is not immutable. Immutable means it will never change, okay? Immutable means it will never change. So when I say something is not immutable, I'm saying that knowledge can change, okay? Knowledge can change. Even the top experts may get it wrong, okay? Can y'all think of some knowledge that has changed? Those science students especially, actually not just science students, even for those in psychology, there's so many things. Psychology has changed. Psychology has so many theories in psychology has come out to say, oh, that past theory is wrong. All right, let me update it. This is the correct version, right? So many. Human sciences is full of that. Okay, in natural sciences, not as much, but there is still. Okay, you should know that Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, okay, that's the most famous example, okay, has come out to say, you know, Newton's 3 laws are wrong, okay, or at least not the most applicable. You see, these kind of things can change. All right, so the fact that knowledge can change tells you that experts do not always get it 100% right. So if experts do not always get it 100% right, is it safe for me to follow whatever he says unquestioningly? I'll give you an example. Let's talk about climate change, right? A lot of experts are coming out to say that climate change is a problem. Okay, is it really? I don't know. If you follow experts, then yeah, it is. But a lot of people are also saying that, you know, no, climate change is a hoax. There's no such thing as climate change. All right, it is just these experts anyhow, you know, coming out with things. Okay, it's not that there is evidence that says that climate change is not actually happening right now. Possible, right? I'm not saying right, I'm not saying wrong, but what I'm trying to tell you is that, hey, people might get it wrong. People might get it wrong. Okay, so these are just some things for you to think about. Quite interesting. Okay, now I'm going to come out with a stand. All right, I came out with a stand. This is my thesis statement, actually. Okay, very simple. My thesis statement is really just the last line. Both are dangerous, but it is more dangerous to ignore experts completely than to follow them faithfully. All right, let's read this entire paragraph. Okay, this is not your entire first paragraph. All right, just to let you know, this is just something that I came up with before. Okay, experts, to become experts, they need to attain this societal recognition. All right, they don't attain it by playing, you know, by having fun. They attain it through hard work. They attain it because they have produced work that is of quality and that is influential. All right, so when I talk about work, I'm talking about knowledge. Okay, experts have contributed a lot to society through their knowledge, of course. All right, and while knowledge produced by experts can have problems, that means there are errors, and so knowledge will have to change. All right, but would it mean, all right, and of course, because of that, I agree that we should not follow experts blindly, right? But does that mean that we totally disregard what they say just because they can be wrong, just because they can be biased? Just because of that, should we ignore them completely? The key word is completely. To me, I don't think so. I think you will be foolish to do that. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go first with the first KQ, knowledge question. In the natural sciences, I'm going to talk about natural sciences. I think it's one of the easiest to talk about the natural sciences. To what extent is blindly believing? Remember, I have defined following unquestioningly as blindly believing. what experts have to say, more dangerous than disregarding them completely. So ignoring them completely, I changed it to disregarding, which is the same thing really. Okay, so this is the claim I'm making. So once I've come up with my question, I need to answer my question. All right, so how do I answer my question? I'm going to say, of course, that to what extent, so you can say yes or no, all right? To what extent is blindly believing more dangerous? I think it's, to me, I'll just say yes, it is definitely more dangerous. Now, why? I need to explain my reason, explain my statement. Okay, and I've already told you, right? In the natural sciences, as I told you, there are stringent rules. There is a system. Okay, there is a system. Before you can produce knowledge in the natural sciences, you cannot just see something and then say it is, right? You need to conduct experiments. All right, these experiments have rules. Okay, you need to follow rules to conduct an experiment. You need to control the conditions. You need to see it how many times before you can conclude, yes, A causes B, for example, right? So that's one, okay? And always remember that in natural sciences, we're always talking about things that can be verified. So you can come up with a hypothesis. Hypothesis is like, what do you expect is going to happen? All right. For example, if I drop this highlighter, you can't see it because I blurred my background. But if I drop this highlighter that I'm holding in my hand, I'm going to hypothesize, all right, that it will fall to the ground. It will fall to the floor, it will fall to the ground, whichever it is. Right? That is my hypothesis. Okay. Now I need to verify this hypothesis. Okay. So, I need to prove this hypothesis. If I can prove this hypothesis that every time I drop something, it will fall to the floor, then whatever my results are, all right, is verified. Okay, so just by the fact that I have to verify my studies or my results shows to you that natural sciences is actually quite objective. Natural sciences is actually quite reliable. Okay, then of course there is this other issue of replicability. Some people in natural sciences say that it is important, replicability is important, right? You need, if I drop this highlighter, okay, in Singapore, and it falls to the floor in Singapore, will it fall to the floor in every other country? Will it fall to the floor as long as somebody, doesn't need to be me, somebody releases this highlighter? And maybe not just an highlighter, all right? Maybe even a phone, for example, okay? Anyway, okay, maybe I should stop there because I'm moving a little bit into generalizability also. So let's not go there. Replicability just means as long as anybody drops this highlighter, it will always fall to the floor, no matter where, under the same conditions, of course. Okay, so of course, if that can happen, then yes, that's a proper knowledge. Okay, so just because if experts say something that has been verified, that has been replicated, why won't you believe? Why are you now saying, I don't want to believe them because they can be wrong? They can be wrong. But I've already told you, whatever whatever that's coming out of their mouth has been verified. Whatever that has come out of their mouth has been replicated. So wouldn't you be a fool if you don't believe? Right? That's one argument. Okay. Now the counterclaims, of course, as I said, concrete theories and laws in science has been proven wrong. I told you, I gave you Newton's 3 laws, okay? That has been proven, that has been disproven, sorry, that's been debunked, all right? A lot of us have learned what the 3 laws of Newtonian mechanics are. And then after that, years later, we realized, hey, actually, it's wrong. It has already been proven wrong, okay? Einstein's theory of relativity has proved it wrong, okay? So then what? So just like that, no matter how rigorous science can be, it's not 100%. So is that enough for you to say, I don't want to believe experts? Okay, let's look at the next. Now, so I've given you the yes, I've given you the no. Now we need to evaluate. We need to evaluate. So the way I evaluate science is by using this theory of falsifiability. Those of you who are familiar, you go and check out Karl Popper. Karl is with a K, K-A-R-L. Karl Popper. He is the one that came up with theory of falsifiability. He is basically, the theory of falsifiability just says that, the cornerstone of science is that I'm able to prove something is false. All right. I give you an example. Okay, let's talk about fake science. Okay, anybody here can give me an example of fake science? All right, superstitious science, basically. All right, even just astrology. Astrology has been called a pseudoscience. All right, so it's not real science. And basically, well, horoscope as well, right? Now, all these are fake science or not real science because you can't really prove it false, can you? All right, if I read my fortune and my fortune says that, oh, I'm going to have I'm going to in 2023 there will be moments I'm happy, there will be moments I'm sad. Can you prove it? Can you actually prove that? Can you falsify it? You can't falsify it. You can never, no matter how hard you try, you can't even falsify that statement. So if you can't falsify that statement, that's not science. That's not anything. That's not anything of value. So that's what theory of falsifiability says. All right. So, but the theory of falsifiability also tells you that, you know, science can be proven wrong. Science can be proven false. Knowledge can change. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just updating knowledge. Okay. Doesn't mean that knowledge is wrong. Tells you that you can't believe whatever that you have found out today. Remember, I've told you at the start of today's seminar, there is this thing known as an objective reality. Okay, we have to agree. If everybody thinks that there is a chair there, it's okay. Let us just think that there's a chair there, even though maybe 1 hour later, everybody realizes that everybody's wrong. There was actually no chair there. It's a ghost. But for that 1 hour, let's just live with it that there is a chair there. That's objective reality. That's okay. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. Because if you don't accept that, you're going to make your life difficult. That's all I can tell you. Okay. The final thing to evaluate is that this is my pro tip. Okay, you will hit a home run if you can think of an example where scientific theories, while proven wrong later on, all right, is still useful. Okay, so for example, and that is why you should still listen to scientists. Okay, I give you an example of Newton again, right? Let me give you an old example. Don't use this in your essay, by the way, because it's a very old example and all your friends are going to use it. So if you want to stand out, come out with a new example. Okay, but I'll give you this old example just to show my point. I told you that Newton's 3 laws, and I think even the students who did not study science here, you would probably know that, you probably have ever heard of Isaac Newton. Right? Isaac Newton is the guy that sat underneath the tree in Cambridge University. Am I right? And then the apple dropped on him, and then that's how he found out, oh, okay, there's such a thing as gravity. All right. But of course, that's not the only thing that he came up with, Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton also came up with his 3 laws. All right, his 3 laws of motion. Okay, I'm not going to, you can Google that easily. Okay, so the 3 laws of motion, as I told you later on, got proven wrong. Okay, but today, even to today, if you have ever opened a physics textbook, all right, we are still studying Newton's 3 laws. Why? It's been proven wrong. But do you see something? Even though it's proven wrong, for that imperfect worldview that we have, it still works. It still works. So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? I want everybody to think about that a bit carefully. All right, it works. Yes, it might be wrong. It might not be the perfect theory, but it works. It still works for whatever purposes that we need it to work. All right. In other words, you see, Newton's 3 laws of motion, even though it's not accurate, not 100% accurate, it works for the purposes of, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? I'm not a physics guy. All right. And I might have forgotten this a little bit. But if I'm not wrong, Newton's 3 laws can still work for larger objects. All right, but when we, yeah, I think so. Or is it the other way around? Okay, anyway, I'm just going to assume it's for larger objects. But for smaller objects, it doesn't work anymore. For when the objects get smaller and smaller, then we need to use another theory. But do you see, so these Newton's 3 laws, even though it has been proven wrong, it is still useful. So if it's still useful, and if whatever experts say can be proven wrong, but whatever that they have come up with is still useful, then why are we not listening to them? Then it's not that dangerous to listen to them, right? Okay. I mean, even in psychology as well, I know that there's so many theories that have been debunked and proven wrong, but still useful, still useful. So what's wrong with that? Okay. Anyway, just think about that. I don't want to go too much into it, but I hope I'm striking a chord in you. Okay. Next one, let's talk about human sciences. Okay. So same thing, the KQ is exactly the same, just swap out natural sciences for human sciences. All right. The claim here, again, same thing. All right. When you produce knowledge in the human sciences, there are rules. Every single discipline, every single area of knowledge has a system. All right. Has their own rules that they follow. Okay. This will give them some discipline. That's why they're called a discipline. A discipline has rules. You cannot just enter. You cannot just say, I'm a science expert. I'm a physics expert. No, you have to follow the rules first. That's why it's called a discipline. Okay. Now, once you've come up with the claim, you are obviously going to come up with the counterclaim. Same thing, right? Theories and laws in psychology and economics, for example, has been proven wrong. In any form of social sciences, sociology also has been proven wrong. Okay. And why human sciences, unlike the natural sciences, has more subjectivity, has more problems. Okay. Natural sciences, we're not dealing with human beings. Human sciences, we are dealing with human beings. That's why it's called human sciences. All right. If we are dealing with human beings can be difficult. Human beings can be very subjective. So it's not always 100% anymore when you start to deal with humans. All right. When you do experiments for human sciences, all right, the sample size also becomes important. Right? If you measure 1,000 people, does that represent the entire world? For example, if I represent maybe all Singaporeans, would that apply to Americans? Would that apply to Indians? Would that apply to Brits? I don't know. I don't think so. Might not be. It might not be. All right. So generalizability always becomes a problem for human sciences. All right. And of course, the problem with induction. Those of you who are not familiar with induction. Okay. Induction means that, very simple, you know, same thing, let me use the highlighter. Okay. If I drop this highlighter, all right, I observe it. The first time it falls to the floor. The second time it falls to the floor. Third time falls to the floor. The 1,000th time it falls to the floor. And because it has fallen to the floor 1,000 times, I say that every time I release the highlighter, it falls to the floor. But what happens at the 1,001th time or second or third? Maybe if I drop it 2,000 times, it won't fall to the floor anymore. All right. So I can never be 100% sure, can I? That's the problem with induction. Okay. And so because of all this, can we really trust what experts in the human sciences say? All right. That is the counterclaim. So again, same thing. Now I have the trust them, then don't trust them. So now we got to evaluate, right? So how do we evaluate? Again, same thing. Okay, not same thing actually, but I don't know if y'all have ever read any academic papers. Maybe not, right? Not required for the IB, or maybe for your extended essay, you might need to. Okay, but if you read any of these academic papers, especially if you read papers on social sciences and human sciences, you will start to realize that at the end of every article, there is now a limitation section. It's called limitations, okay? Limitations. This limitation section is for whoever the author of this article is, to perform some form of reflexivity. Reflexivity is just to reflect. All right. And in this reflexivity, he will outline what is his limitations, what is the problems, what are the struggles that he faced. Okay. And honestly, then what he does in this section is that he limits the applicability of his findings. So he starts to tell you that this is what I found. All right. This is what I found. But I'm going to tell you first that it's not 100% because there are limitations. So you need to work around these limitations if you want to use my findings. Okay, you need to work around my limitations. Okay, so now the good thing about this is that I can move from strength to strength, right? I can grow from strength to strength. Even though this whatever result that somebody has come up with is not 100%, but if it's there for us to use, I can start to use this and I can build on it. So let me give you an example, okay? Today's TOK seminar might not be the best, all right? You might be thinking, I don't think I'm very clear on what to do for TOK. And maybe somebody, maybe a teacher, maybe another TOK teacher would have come across my little seminar today. And then he starts to say, okay, it's not too bad. It's not 100% right. It's not 100% wrong, but I can make it better. So you see, in the end of the day, my efforts didn't go to waste, because whatever that I've come up with today, somebody can use it and make it better. Exactly the same here for this human science guy. Yes, his study is not 100%, it's not the best. There are problems, but someone in the future can make it better. And in the end of the day, when we talk about TOK, when we talk about knowledge, there is no absolute knowledge in this world, all right? But we're trying to get, or maybe I should say, there's no perfect knowledge in this world, right? But we're trying to get as close to it as possible. We're trying to get as close to this truth as possible. We will never get there, I don't think, all right? But just like that, even if something that I've come up with is not 100%, it still gets me closer, closer, closer. Okay, so that is my argument. All right, and that is how I would answer question number 3. Okay, out of the 6 TOK essay titles. All right, I think I'm done for today. How much time did I take? Okay, I took exactly 1 hour, maybe a little bit shy of 1 hour. If any questions for me, let me know. Okay, but you can also, this is our website, our EdXP website. You can drop us an email, ask any questions you want. I know that I did not cover all 6 essay titles, but hey, if you need some guidance, you need some pointers, feel free, email us. You know, never know. You just might reply you with some tips and tricks. All right. Okay, Shoei, you're on.
Okay, thank you, Elgin. I think we've come to the end of the seminar. So, like the previous week, if any of you have any questions, it doesn't have to be relating to TOK, right? Feel free to ask away. You can either do so via the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and also just speak through the mic. So the floor is yours. We'll probably be around for another 5 to 10 minutes so that we can take in any questions that you may have. Okay.
If there are no questions, it means I did a good job, I guess. That's good.
Yeah, if you didn't do a good job, please feel free.
Oh yeah, if I didn't do a good job, please let me know as well. I don't know, I spoke a little bit fast, so I'm not sure if everybody caught it. But what I can tell you is that at the very least, please, that article that I showed you, all right, on our blog, that is super important. I'm telling you, that can help you answer a lot of TOK questions, to be very honest. So please go and look at it. Read it and understand it. If you don't understand it, email us, okay? If there's something that you don't understand.
Okay, Elgin, I think there are some questions in the chat.
Oh,
yeah. Regarding the TOK exhibition.
Well, okay, it really depends on the question that you're choosing, right? But in the end of the day, yes, you can give a direct answer. You can say yes, you can say no. All right. Don't give me a stand that is a little bit gray. When you are coming up with the yes or no answer, when you're trying to explain the yes or no answer, support your yes or no answer, that is where you can highlight the grayness. But when you're stating your stand, don't state it in a very gray way. Don't state it by saying, oh yeah, maybe, it depends on this, it depends on that, it depends on what assumptions you make. Don't do that, because then I don't even know what your stand is. Okay, so be clear. Be clear. But in your analysis, that's where you can bring it out. That's where you can bring out the grayness. Okay?
Yeah, maybe, as I've shared in the previous seminar, if there are any areas in your IB journey which you need help with, we can also do our seminar to support you. So you can also throw in some ideas. Like last week, we have quite a number of requests for job IA as well as Lang and Lit IO. Yeah, so feel free to share with us what we can do, EdXP, what EdXP can do to help you.
Oh, Lang and Lit IO. I love that.
Okay, so Arjun, I think you probably have to take the Lang and Lit IO as well.
Sure, my favorite.
If not, if you, okay, we have another question, Arjun, all yours.
All right, is stating our stance enough for relating the analysis with regards to the TOK essay or objects with regards to the exhibition with the core theme of the knower? Okay, you got to be a bit clearer. Not too sure what exactly you're saying. Okay, let me try to understand it. Okay, maybe let me read again. Is stating our stance enough for relating the analysis? Okay, I'm not too sure what you're trying to get at, but what what I would tell you, my advice is that, okay, always come up with a simple stand. All right, whatever the question is, whatever they are trying to say, whatever they are trying to prove, craft it in a simple way, craft it in a yes or no way. All right, and then answer it directly, answer it in a yes or no way. But in your analysis of that, in your analysis, in coming up, in analyzing why you said yes or why you said no, that is where you really showcase your power. That is where you come up with the gray area. Okay, so I don't know if I answered your question. Did I? Let me know, Ashna. Okay, great. Culture and knowledge. Okay, culture and knowledge, always a little bit tricky, that one. I'm thinking my stance could be that there is a relationship between all knowledge and culture. Yeah, possible, why not? For example, in AOK of math, the usage of the quadratic formula is independent of knowledge, but the development of the formula is dependent on culture. Ooh, that's a good one, yeah, since it was created as a tool for the culture. Would this be a good stance in order to avoid the gray area? Let me see. Okay, wait. I think it's something that you need to understand. This is a example. So Deepan, all right, or Dapan, I hope I'm getting it right. Okay, remember, you state your stand. You come out with a yes or no first. Okay, you come out with your stand. Then to support your stand, you need to explain. Why did you say that? Why did you say that? After you have explained why you said yes or why you said no, then you need a supporting example. This supporting example is your quadratic example that you have just come up with. So you have only given me a fantastic example, but you need to build it up. You still need an explanation on top, and you need a stand on top of that. All right. Think of a 3-layered ice cream. Think of a 3-layered ice cream. Okay. It starts off first with what are you trying to say? What is your statement? Explain your statement. Give me examples to support that statement. Okay. So you still have some way to go, but as I said, the examples is always the most difficult part. All right. But what I will tell you is that you are on a good example, but you got to flesh it out. You got to flesh out your example a lot more. Okay. Then it will be a fantastic one. Anything else? Anybody? Last call. If not, you have to email us.
Yeah, if you do enjoy this seminar, I hope you have tried EdXP as well. So EdXP is also our brainchild, and the amount of thought and effort behind EdXP is also equivalent to the amount of expertise that you actually see in the past few seminars that we've had, whether it's math or even TOK. Please, if you have ever found EdXP to be helpful for you, go and share with your friends, because I believe that it's gonna help a lot of IB students like yourself. Okay. Again, we will be conducting more of such seminars. So if you think that this has been helpful for your friends as well, get them to join the mailing list, drop us an email, and we'll make sure that we'll always update everyone with regards to upcoming seminars. Yes, so there will be a seminar every week starting from, since last week, except for 1 week in May where we can't do a Saturday. So next week, we will be doing an economics seminar. In fact, I'll be the one conducting the seminar. So if you do join us, I will see you next week. And then the following week, we will be doing chemistry. And then there will be a break followed by physics. And then we're going to do probably Langlit IO. Okay, if not, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. We're just glad that we are able to help you guys. Okay, and have a good day wherever you guys are.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.